you can make a heat pump work in almost every kind of British home, and that's the mindset we should have, is kind of not will a heat pump work, but like what are we going to have to do to make it work, and what are we willing to do as the people who own that home, who live in that home. Where's the line for us in terms of what we would need to change, and just be much more kind of positive about the direction of travel, and the fact that you can make this work, rather than focusing on the risks and things that make it sound much more difficult and to homeowners and householders than it probably really is. There's two big things we're interested in Nesta in Wales at the moment. We're interested in all the work that the Welsh Government has been doing in social housing retrofit. We think there's an opportunity there to learn from tenants' experiences of getting heat pumps and things like that, to try and understand how to make those experiences better. Another thing we're really interested in is the idea of coordinated switching. It's quite a big, new, quite ambitious idea for the whole mission. Basically, is there something you could do to get more homes all switching to heat pumps or other things at the same time? So there's a piece in there around planning and around having kind of local delivery bodies for heat. The Welsh Government has just published a heat strategy in which it's made clear its view that heat pumps are going to be one of the main technologies that will be heating homes in the future. So they've been really clear about that. They've set out the plans they've got to make that happen. But I think it's really important that that message translates through to the general public, so that they have more certainty around what options they're going to have. I think a lot of people, understandably, are not sure about what the right kind of clean technology would be for their home. I think most people believe that heat pumps are going to be the right solution, and to the extent that people will listen to what the government thinks about the direction of travel for their home, it is really helpful to understand that there is a clear direction and why the government, or the Welsh Government, thinks that heat pumps are the best solution. So I'd like to see that communicated much more clearly to people. A book I would recommend, which is actually quite old now, but I still think it stands up, is called Sustainable Energy Without the Hot Air by David Mackay, who was a government advisor quite some time ago. And what's good about that book, the mindset he brought to it, was that it's all rooted in cold, hard numbers. He was trying to kind of demystify the topic, remove adjectives and make it much more about the practicalities and not the kind of emotive language. In the world of gas and heating engineers, there's an increasing recognition that heat pumps are the future, that we're not going to be installing gas boilers forever, and lots of people who've been working in that sector for a long time are thinking about younger generations of installers and the future of their industry, and doing loads of really positive, progressive work. And what's particularly encouraging in a context where there's a lot of people talking down net zero, who are trying to turn it into a culture war and trying to be really negative about it, is that the people we're talking about in the installer sector are no-nonsense people. They are people who've had a lifetime on the tools, and they've looked up from the tools and thought the future is somewhere else, and we've got to make that happen. And it's a really nice antidote to a lot of that kind of quite negative coverage that net zero sometimes gets.